One love to the humble, one love to the humble. Here we have our new merch. As you can see here, this one is in white. Then we have Carolina blue. And we also have black. These are some very nice hats. And I think that you would like them as well. They're very comfortable. They sit on your head perfectly. They have nice soft brims that's easily flexible, so you can shape them how you like. And we also have the mesh covering in the back, as you can see here on the blue Carolina style. You see the snapback, that way it fits all sizes, and then you see the mesh where you can keep your head cool in the summertime, that way you don't overheat. But overall, these are some very, very nice hats, and we would like to see you with them, and that way you can show our style, and you can show the support for the channel. Let everybody know that you are part of the Humble Truth, and this is the merch, and we would like you to purchase. And if you would like to purchase, you can just go to the email and send me an email and let me know, and we can give you the information for purchase. One love to the humble, one love to the humble, one love to the humble. How y'all doing out there? Hope y'all doing well today. Hope everything is going well for you. I really do. I really hope everything is going well in your life. And I would like for you to subscribe to the channel and like the video if you can understand where I'm coming from. Even if you don't like what I'm saying, still like the video, still subscribe. I mean, you know, after a while you might can understand me if you listen to it enough. The first time you hear something like the things that I be talking about, if you never heard this before, it can be very shocking. And you know, that's just the way it is. But I understand that. It was the same way for me when I really started thinking about it. And something else I'm gonna talk about is, you hear that in the background, I'm sure you can hear it. I was looking at one of my comments. I really can't think of the name of the person. I wish I could remember their name, but they pointed out something that I didn't think about. They was talking about like they like watching the videos because of all the nature and the background noises. I never really thought about it until I started listening to the video, looking at some old videos, and I'm like, oh man, you do hear a lot. Because like right here, you got a road right back here. Their cars is like frequently going up and down that road, and then birds and all kind of stuff to be going on. So they pointed that out to me. But let me go ahead and get into what I was going to talk about. And what I was going to talk about is the Psychological Plantation. I'm sorry, look, and also you notice like gnats and everything's be going on in the video, and I'm sorry it be happening, but I can't stand it, you know. But anyway, the Psychological Plantation, that's what we have today. That's the modern day plantation, the Psychological Plantation. And it's not ran by white people, it's ran by black people. Black people run the Psychological Plantation today. But I'm going to give you some information, and I'm going to start giving you more information on things like this, because this is some stuff that we need to be woken up to. I hate using that, but we need to be able to know that there's a lot of things going on, or have going on, that we don't know about. And there's a person I want you to think about called John C. Stanley. If you don't know who John C. Stanley is, go look up John C. Stanley. John C. Stanley is from North Carolina, and John C. Stanley was one of the largest black slave owners in the state of North Carolina, and he was the second largest slave owner in the South, meaning he had twice as many slaves as the second largest slave owner in the South. And John C. Stanley was a black man, and he was a free black man. He was an entrepreneur, he was a land developer, he had all of that stuff, and he was one of the largest slave owners in North Carolina. So go check out John C. Stanley for more information on him. But I say that to get right into what I'm talking about today. You know, black people, as black people, we hate individual thinkers. We don't like free thinkers in our community. We want everybody to think on the same wavelength. And if you're one of the type of people who don't think like the group, you're going to be considered an outcast. You're going to be called a racial slur. You're going to be called an Uncle Tom. You're going to be called a bootlicker. You know, all of the names that you can think of, that's what you're going to be called if you don't think like the group. Or if you, in other words, you come off of the psychological plantation. You cannot leave the psychological plantation, because if you do, you'll be an outcast, and they'll never let you back onto the plantation. Which you don't want to go back to the plantation anyway, but they're not going to let you back on even if you try. Even if you go back to try to help bring those other people who are on the psychological plantation out of the psychological plantation, they're going to try to harm you, shun you, and keep those people that's on the plantation, the psychological plantation, keep them there. They don't want them to come off the psychological plantation with you. And if they try, they're going to shame you, they're going to shame them, they're going to do things to make it so it's socially hard for that person to break away from that psychological plantation that they're on. Now imagine this. Imagine you are free from the psychological plantation and you happen to walk up on a psychological plantation. Now there's no guards, there's no gates, there's nobody being whipped, none of that is going on. It's just open reign. People are walking around freely. They're able to go and do everything they want to do. They're able to live how they want to live. They're able to do everything. But the only thing that they cannot do is speak freely. Or they cannot, not speak freely, they cannot think freely. That's the only thing. And nobody's telling them that they can't do it, but it's psychological. It has an effect on their mental state. Meaning, if you go up to them and you try to talk to them and get them to come off the psychological plantation, they can't do it. They have a hard time doing it. They're afraid to do it. They're afraid to break away. And then what'll happen is somebody else that's on the psychological, the leader or the psychological master will come in and try to deter that person from talking to you, and they'll try to shame that person. They're gonna shame you because you're the one who's trying to free them off the psychological plantation. But they're gonna come in and try to deter that. They're gonna say different things like, you know, that person's a Uncle Tom, that person's a sellout, that person's a bootlicker. They're gonna come with all the typical shaming tactics that they're gonna use to try to get that person not to talk to you, because they're afraid that they might free them from that psychological plantation. They're gonna do everything in their power to do it. And then next thing you know, everybody's gonna group up together, and then they're gonna all attack you at the same time. And it could get physical, but for the most part, it's definitely gonna be mental. They're gonna try to mentally bring you back onto the psychological plantation after you've broken away from it. Because that's just the way it goes. They're gonna try to pull you back in because they don't like the fact that you're thinking freely. They don't like it. And then they're gonna say, oh, well, if you don't associate yourself with them because you're different, right? You're a different type of person. You're not like them. You're broken away from the psychological plantation. But what they'll do is they don't like that you broke away. So they're gonna try to, as I said, find a way to bring you back on to the plantation. But if you don't come back to it and you're thinking for yourself, they don't want you to think for yourself. They want you to think like them. And if you try to separate yourself by saying, you know, I'm different, I'm not like them, they're gonna get mad at you and say, oh, well, what? You think you're better than us? You think you're not like us? You don't. When you talk, you don't say us. They want you to say us. They don't want you to say, well, they don't want you to make yourself separate. They want you to be inclusive. They want you to be just like them. So you're not allowed to be separate. And then you get outcast. You get pushed away. So then you're walking around the the psychological plantation and you're trying to tell those people, hey, listen, this is what you're missing. This is what's really going on. But they just can't seem to grasp it, because as soon as you try, here come the other people gonna come up and bogart you again and start shaming you again, start trying to mentally break you down so that you don't continue to try to free those people off the psychological plantation. And it's free to just walk off the psychological plantation at 80 times, but the psychological master won't allow it. They're going to put things out there in the atmosphere into their wavelength so that the people are stuck in that trance where they can't come out of it. You see what I'm saying? It's a trance that they're in, and they can't seem to escape that trance. They hit that wavelength, they on that frequency, and they can't break away. It's a powerful thing. It's more powerful than the actual physical slave plantation that they had back in the day. The psychological plantation is way stronger than the one back then. You can see the one back then, they wasn't touching their mind. They was only touching them. They was doing it physically. But see, when the black psychological master took over, they went into the mind. They did it a different way. Cause they do those that get into the mind is more powerful than the physical. Because you can beat a person's body physically, and as long as their mind is strong, it don't matter. But if you get a person's mind, you got them forever. Unless somebody else can come with a stronger frequency to break through that frequency that's going right now. And it's hard to break through that frequency because they got so many firewalls in place. And them firewalls are the shaming tactics. So like, for example, if Kamala Harris can bring in Megan Thee Stallion to perform at a presidential rally, and most of the people can't see why that's a problem. They can't see why it's a problem. The frequency is so strong that it's hard to break through those firewalls to get down to the hardware, to the hard drive, to get them off that frequency. They can't see how belittling that is. You can't see how they're being made of. It's like a mockery, and they can't see it. Like Kamala can tell everybody that she's black, or she can say things like washing her collard greens in the tub, and she remember her grandmother telling her that. And this is not nothing against a race of people that's not black. But I'm saying she's perpetrating. It's a fraud. But you can't tell black people that because the frequency is so strong, and the psychological plantation got such a stronghold that it's hard for anybody to get through. And if you do try it, they will find a way to reverse it back on you to make you look like the bad person. They keep telling them it's like cultish behavior. They get all of them together and they start telling them these things, and they got such a strong frequency that the people can't shake it, and they believe everything that they've been told. They're being told that people like me, because see, I used to be on the psychological plantation too. I was on it for a long, long time. And then one day I was able to snap out of it. Somebody was able to break through my frequency and break through those firewalls. And then I was able to see. I was like, whoa. I had been in a trance for so long, and then I snapped out of the trance. And I started seeing what things really were, and then I just walked right off the plantation. And I ain't never been back. And I look back, and I see the people that's on it, and I try to go over there and try to get them out. But they won't. They fight me for trying to bring them off the psychological plantation. And they will shoot little slick remarks at me. They will say things at me, not realizing that all I'm trying to do is free them. But they think they're trying to free me. It's an amazing thing when you really think about it. They think they're freeing me. They think I'm the one who don't know, who can't see. That's what they think. But it's really them. They so caught up in it. They're the ones going out they got them so programmed that they'll go out to an all-white school and try to change the culture into being black. And then get mad if it don't happen. Think about what is really going on here. This psychological plantation is strong. It's strong. And if you do happen to get through the one, You got to keep on doing it, because you got to erase that hard drive and re-upload new information, because the frequency is so strong. Then you got to change the frequency so they get onto a new frequency that's above that frequency, so that they don't get caught up. You got to take it out and reprogram it, because if you don't, then they'll try to bring them right back in. You got to keep flooding it with new information, keep updating the new information. You can't let them get caught back in the mix and get pulled back into it. And then they believe that a handout, or they believe their programs are going to save them. They say, well, we need more programs, but not realizing that every time you give a new program, you're getting pulled deeper into, it's stronger the more programs you give, because the more you give a person, the less they want to work hard, the less they try to go hard, because it's easy. It's much easier to receive things than it is to work for things. So the more I can give you, the less likely you are to leave, because it's easy, so easy. And have you watched enough YouTube where you heard their commercial where they're talking about giving out these cars with money loaded on it? Listen to how that lady's talking. She's talking broken English. She's trying to sound like black people, but she's saying it in a condescending. Well, to me, it's condescending, but she's talking like black people. Like, well, you need to go and get you one. Come on down here. We're finna do this, and we got one of our. I went and bought me some groceries yesterday, and now I can go ahead and go to the movies and pay some of my bills that I ain't never been able to pay. That's the commercial. I know you've heard that ad on YouTube. And I'm listening to that. I'm like, that's such a slap in the face. They're saying the way they can do these things to black people, and they don't even realize what's being done. And they can't see, like, this is a slap in the face. Black people are not stupid, but that's the way they treat it. They do so many. It's hard to sit there and watch it, and then not see that people don't recognize that they're trapped into the psychological plantation. It's hard to watch. And then you try your hardest to shake it. And then you got the other people like me is on a different frequency, right? So we can communicate, we can talk, but then we'll get called out or whatever. I don't want to start rambling. It seems like I'm about to start rambling. It seems like I'm about to start probably going over the same thing over and over again. But they was able to program the frequency so strong, they got the men wearing their pants down below their butt. Then they turn around and got the women to take off all their clothes and go outside. It was a time when women would not want people to see their underwear hanging on the clothesline, let alone wearing underwear in public, as it is attired. Now you say, well, what about going to the beach? Well, going to the beach is expected at the beach, right? But proper clothing at the beach, proper bikinis at the beach, because you got kids there. It'll be the proper thing to wear, and then you wear like a one piece, nothing all through your butt crack or nothing like that, because you got kids out there, right? That would be the respectable thing to do. But I'm saying, just walking around in public, halfway naked, or might as well say naked, and the men got their pants hanging down below their butt. You tell me that psychological plantation ain't strong? It's strong. I mean, it's amazing. And then the thought process and the mindset behind it all. The things that these politicians can do, and black people just go for it year after year. It's so bad, you can straight up tell a black person, I ain't doing nothing just for you. And they still would do it. They still would vote for that direction. It's like they don't care. They don't care about it. They're going to do it no matter what. They're like, we don't care. We want to make history. We don't care about politics. We want to make history. That's what got us in trouble with Barack. We wanted to make history. And we went out and voted not knowing nothing about politics. Most still don't know. But, hey, we making history. That's what it looks like. That's all they care about. We're making history. Yay, we made history. The whole time, the problems still stay the same. But we can say, oh, look what we got. We got this. We made history. Hey, listen. If you're not on the psychological plantation, keep trying to pull those who own the psychological plantation off. Keep trying to bring them off of that plantation if you can. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard. Some of them don't even know they're on the psychological plantation. But it's going to be up to you to bring them off. They need to be brought off and think for themselves. When people start thinking for themselves, they start doing better for themselves. But if all of them are thinking in a group think, they're not going to rise no higher than the group, because they all on the same frequency. And when they try to break free to go up, they're going to be pulled right back down. Somebody's going to shame them into coming back down to that same frequency. They don't want them to change the frequency. They want to stay on that low frequency. They don't want them to raise the frequency. But you got to figure out a way to get them to raise their frequency, or else I don't know what to say about the race as a whole. I already said enough. You can watch the other videos. You can see what I say about it. But keep trying. Keep sharing this video. Keep letting people know what's really going on and how they can break free and live a better freedom. Because right now, it don't look good at all. Because we're at the low, we have the worst, everything of importance, we're at the bottom. We're at the bottom of everything importance, and it keeps getting worse. And nobody seems to care. We don't even care. That's what we need to be caring, us. Y'all take care. Keep trying. Stay focused. Man, I got much love for each and every one of y'all, man. And one love to the humble. Y'all take care.